CTV News with Lloyd Robertson.
Good evening. They got down to business in London today. This was the first official day of the G7 Economic Summit for the world's 7 richest democracies. And the presidents and prime ministers spent a lot of it talking about aid for the Soviet Union. But right from the start, there didn't seem to be much to agree on. Some of the countries, like Canada, are resisting large handouts. But others, like Germany, want a generous package. More from CTV's Craig Oliver.
The summiteers lined up for the standard family photo. But this year, the figure of a man not even here yet, Mikhail Gorbachev, cast a long shadow over their meeting. At their first get-together, the leaders went round the table, and almost all agreed that Soviet aid was the principal question to be decided upon here. In his intervention, Prime Minister Mulroney called it a dilemma. The West needs to support Gorbachev's sweeping efforts at reform, but the best way to do that is still unclear, he told the closed-door session.
But in fact, we do see...
An advanced guard of Soviet officials was already in London, turning up the pressure. One deputy prime minister warned of serious consequences if the world's richest nations do not come through with financial support.
Well, I think if we do not achieve a very close cooperation between the USSR and other nations, there could be turmoil not only in the Soviet Union, but elsewhere.
The primary bankers among the group of 7, the Japanese, are lining up with the U.S. and Canada in resisting cash transfers. Likewise, the British hosts are clearly preparing the Soviets for a disappointment.
No one here, I think, wants to send President Gorbachev discouraged away. But no one is arguing that he should go away with specific aid in his pocket, apart from technical assistance, which we all agree on, and which I think most of us are doing.
The Soviet president has sent the summit participants a 23-page letter outlining his plans to radically reform his country's economy. Canadian officials who've seen it say it's a stunner, which repudiates much of Soviet history since the revolution. They say that just as the Paris summit between the East and the West in November marked an end to the Cold War, so this Gorbachev summit will write off Marxism-Leninism as a way of life. Craig Oliver, CTV News, London.
One thing Gorbachev is going to ask for is help in converting the Soviet ruble into hard currency. Officials say it's a request worth 10 or maybe even 12 billion US dollars. That's how much the Soviets say is needed to keep the ruble stable as it is transformed into currency that can be exchanged on world money markets. The Soviet leader isn't the only one casting a long shadow over this summit. There is also a lot of talk about what Saddam Hussein